one of my things is because my name is Marie Scheffler. Scheffler.
Right.
But no one can say it, including you two people. My new best friend.
Just one of them, technically.
Just Kevin.
Sorry.
No, it was me that I screwed that up.
I was making fun of Carl.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, fair enough. But I don't know. But names are names. They are what they are, and I guess I'm way too deep in my career to change it. So it's Marie Scheffler. That's just what it is. But then somewhere I had a business manager who said, they're not going to know your name. They're going to know your show. So he was branding Suddenly Mummy. So it's true. I became the Suddenly Mummy woman, oh, you're the girl from Suddenly Mummy, or, oh, my God, you're Suddenly Mummy. So it's like, fair enough. If that gets me to fame and fortune, and then eventually they'll have to learn my name, fair enough. And so then I'll be like 95. Do you know my name now?
Do you think people could pronounce Tom Hanks at first? Probably not.
Right. See, it used to be Thomas Hankelstein.
Right.
And then he...
It's the nature of the beast.
So there's a beautiful theater I go out to in the Rocky Mountains in Canada called Kicking Horse Culture, Golden, BC. I love it over there. It's like literally when I stayed there in the artist residence, they're like, before you go to the theater, let us know, and you don't want to open the back door because there's a bear out there, so don't go out the back door. Like, that's how, into the Rockies we are. Everything's not all just, New York, Toronto, Chicago, LA. There's other people who need entertainment too.
Absolutely.
So,
wow, would you say that's the strangest venue you ever performed at, or?
Yeah, it's a venue. They like me there, and the guy who books it, he just loved me. I did a showcase. It's you go out to different cities and you showcase your show, and then the presenters, the people who own those theaters, who run those theaters, they choose you from your showcase. So I had a kick-ass showcase while I was going through my divorce. It was 2014. I do this amazing showcase in Vancouver, and all those British Columbia and Alberta and Seattle, Washington, like the West Coast, northern West Coast, they're there to pick up the shows they want to put in their theaters. So I got a lot of bookings for Suddenly Mummy, probably because I was channeling my divorce energy into, my art. So I became a sweetheart. I got lots of bookings out there, and they pay well. It's like a comic going on tour, but it's like really nice. And so then I sold out his venue with Suddenly Mummy, and then in Golden, BC, and then he said, well, what's the next one? I said, it's MILF Life Crisis. And he said, well, I cannot book that. And I'm like, why not? And he's like, because that's too dirty and sexy. And I said, well, you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's not a strip show. And then I literally had to convince him I sent him a video of bits of my show and then audience reactions. I had women after the show just talking to me and my camera person who said, oh my God, it was so sweet and it's good. Like, because it sounds like I'm just going to be standing on stage talking about, well, I kind of am. I am just standing on stage talking about sex, but with a storyline. With a storyline.
Sure.
With a hero's journey. There's a hero's journey.
Wow.
Epic.
An arc.
I wanted to ask if you'd ever had any awful experiences on stage, during your show. Not necessarily just drawing a blank, which is what I would probably do almost immediately, but anything with the audience, any kind of heckling, anything like that.
Sure. There's the one part in the show where my main character, me, Anne-Marie, doesn't want to be dating again, is reluctantly going into the single world. And her girlfriend, Kendra, who I've told you about, she's like, oh, my God, you're a MILF and you're single. You get to play. So then I go into this 1970s porno music, and I put on a leopard print robe, and I, act out a porno, which is terrible because it's very comical. It's not very sexy. It's very comical. And then I take from the audience a plumber. I go and I get a plumber from the audience. Usually it's like a 70-year-old man, and his wife's pointing, take him, oh my God. And I get like a real sweet old man on stage going, you got some plumbing that needs attention? And it's very sweet. It's kind of foolproof. But when I was in Medicine Hat, Alberta, boy, I shouldn't be outing the audience, should I?
Well, you just did.
When I when I was in Beijing, China,
Right.
I got an audience member to be the plumber, and he got on stage, and he really was a stripper. He was a male stripper. And he started to do really sexy things to a point where I was like, oh, my God, how do I stop him?
Uh-huh.
Two, have I just handed over my show to be hijacked? Like,
No.
now it's going to be a whole different show. They're not going to give me my check.
He wasn't 70, was he?
No,
Not this one.
He was like 35. He was
Okay.
like 35. So it wasn't bad at all. I mean, beautiful body and
That's
all that
70
stuff.
in male stripping worlds.
There's a market for that, Kevin.
All right, sure.
There's a market.
I've got so much to learn.
We're living longer. Our needs are busy. Yeah.
But he kind of like, could you like not get him off the stage?
A little bit. But then again, honestly, I've been performing live for so long. I was able to do that. And this is something that happens to me too. There's me who's like talking to you, and there's me who's talking to my agent, going, "Why didn't I get that audition? Let's make them see me." Mm-hmm. And then there's me who's on stage, and that person is not me. It's like I'm channeling something from above because I can be braver,
Right.
and I can be more like I'll watch what I've done on stage and go, "Fuck, whew, that's courageous."
Like, where did that come
Oh,
from?
that was me. Yeah.
That's awesome.
You kind of have to take on. You need extra help from above.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that moment that I got a little extra help to get him off.
I like
Not
it.
off the stage.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right,
that's
yeah.
Like
Come
You
on,
might
Dave.
want to be a little specific there.
Shut up, Dave. Come on.
So do you have you had any other noteworthy roles in outside of doing your own stage shows, or any stories from like other acting for others?
Sure. I mean, there was a time I did a TV commercial, and it was a beer commercial for Labatt.
No.
Huh?
Was it?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Labatt
Labatt.
Blue. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And the director was very handsome and great, and everyone loved him. And my part was done, and they wanted me, like I was wrapped, and it was like, a 4-day shoot, and I was wrapped on day 3. And on day 4, they asked me to come back. They even sent a driver, and they had made a chicken. They had made a bikini out of chicken, like out of bright yellow chicken feathers. Like so they wanted to do the last shot where they opened the door, and I was standing there in a bikini made out of chicken feathers.
Wow. That
I
paints
know.
a picture. I mean,
That happens in Canada a lot, right?
oh, okay.
But here's the sad part. Here's the Canadian part of that story. I was too scared and didn't like the idea of being objectified, and so I said no.
What? Okay.
No, that makes sense. I would
But
have too.
it could have been better for my career.
You could have been that chicken feather bikini lady.
For years and years and years.
Yeah, you would have been
paid for my
typecast.
fucking life.
So then, what as far as like, do you do regular straight up stand up as well, or just these like acting and creating your own story shows, or just wondering if you have any stories from stand
I'll
up
do
itself?
anything. I'll do anything to be an actor. I will do anything.
Wow.
But just like you guys, like you audition for dramas, you audition for the woman, like the big show right now is Handmaid's Tale.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my God, I love Margaret Atwood. She's a Canadian icon. Yay.
She invented the
And
chicken
then I
feather
get
bikini.
in a feather bikini.
I think so.
Let's see what she
They
thinks.
should have had them all wear that instead of those Puritan robes.
Under his egg.
Then I would have watched. But,
Carl's had a long week, Anne-Marie.
Oh, Carl, if only there was a woman in your life.
there was. Wow.
It's like, what did you do to her? She left, like, what happened?
I can't.
We'll have to talk about Carl next.
No, yeah, we'll talk privately. We'll hang out. Anyway, I just can't. There's lawyers involved. No, I don't know. But
Lawyers, guns, and money.
I know, right? Yeah. So then, let's see what else we got here. Oh, so any what have you encountered any flack from your folks or anything like that over what you've done?
Any what?
Did you get any flack from your parents or other family members? Like, oh my God, honey, how can you talk about that?
Well, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, sure, I think I got a divorce out of the whole thing. I mean, not that I talked about the family,
Okay.
but just the lifestyle of being an actor is not. It's not a choice. It's not a choice.
It's a calling.
So I think that
really,
it's a calling. It's a vocation.
It's like a virus.
It's an affliction.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think when you, like, for me, I've always been dating in my industry. I've always had boyfriends who are actors, mostly actors, or all actors. And then you marry someone who's not an actor, and then your marriage doesn't work. You're like, maybe that's a problem.
Do you think that was a real issue in your relationship?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do, because I'm ambitious. I'm ambitious, and just, you can't have babies and be happy and then be told you're not. Why are you still ambitious?
Yeah.
Why are you ambitious? You have it. You have it all. Look around you. It's like, yes, I have it all, but there's this part of me that's, does comedy specials that, thinks I'm going to change the world with my jokes or with my fucking whatever, and that if that's not understood or not, then if I felt guilty, like, and he thought, like, what are you hiding from me? I'm hiding my desire for my passion for my career, and that's not a healthy, probably, relationship. Probably
it takes a lot of support. It takes a lot of support.
Yeah,
but you're like a Canadian Liz Lemon.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
Except real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I guess, or go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, funny you said Tina Fey, because I had two little babies. I mean, they're 11 and 13 now, but Tina Fey is probably my age, I think, maybe a year older or a year younger or something. And I seriously had just bought a house in Toronto. I had this beautiful husband. I had this wonderful minivan, had the wonderful mortgage. I had two healthy, beautiful boys. And I'm watching 30 Rock, and my head fell off my shoulders. Because there was a woman who was a mother, who was 40 or over, and she was a writer and star of a TV show. And I almost just, cried with tears of joy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
at 65, I'm going to hit it hard.
And do you find that there's any big difference in what people relate to between the LA and Canadian audiences for your show?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I feel like the women, I'll tell you, there's differences in representation and the way I feel when I go into meetings in LA versus Toronto. I feel like this is my feeling about Los Angeles. Everyone's open. Everyone's you might be the next big thing, so people respect actors, and there's a buzz, there's an energy. I feel like there's endless possibilities. I feel like LA is the great equalizer. You step off the plane and you're like, anything can happen here because it's the land of milk and honey, and there's no snow. There's a real I am born in Canada, so there's also another. It's like a geography thing for me too, to not be in snow and to be there when I'm there. I'm so happy, and then when I'm in Toronto, there's a feeling the industry is changing. There's more opportunities now, but here it's a little bit well, it's not a great business, and entertainment is a little, are you sure you still want to do this? So there's not this expansive, no limit kind of feeling, the way maybe it's in my head, but I feel in LA, or maybe it's America versus Canada. But the audiences, when I get on stage with the MILF Life Crisis in LA, I fucking have women who are like, okay, oh my God, my friend needs to see this. When are you doing it again? When are you doing it? Oh my God, we have to have this. And there's the audience is there, and the audiences here are the same. The women want to be represented. I think that passes geography.
Yeah. Because
I don't know if I'm sure there are more people than me talking for the divorced woman or still being sexy in your 40s and 50s. But there is a bit of a gap where you go from mummy to fucking matronly, mummy to menopause,
right.
Mummy to old lady. You know what I mean? And there's this no man's region where I got another good 10 years, 20 years of still being fucking hot. Can we not get me laid? No?
Right.
Is this not like a good time for me? You know?
Well,
So-